Welcome back to Backroomconvos. I'm your host, Lesego M, Daddy Waddy Pod, aka Sheecha Shorter. Maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Pyro. Listen, if you are a fan of pod, stay tuned because you might like what we're cooking on this episode. I'm your host, Lesego M. I'm sending you love from wherever you're listening your podcast from. And, I had a very interesting weekend yesterday, hanging out with my brothers, family came through Saturday, and a guy by the name of Tato was playing music in a car, and we were bumping music as we were doing a pranyana there. And he was playing a very interesting song by THUKZIN, Zaba N6. So the name of the song is IPLAN. So I was like, it would really be dope to have a segment, a part of the segments that we have in the podcast, to always shout out some of the artists that have dope songs. Maybe a song of the day. To say song of the day goes to Iplani by THUKZIN, Zaba N6. You know what I mean? The same way we do have a book of the day that we introduced the last time we were talking. And I think that the book of the day for the last episode we had, it was Atomic Habits by James Clear. Right? Yeah, Atomic Habits by James Clear. So I thought it would really be interesting to add that as part of every episode that we do in the podcast. So we just added that. So every episode that we do on the podcast, do expect that you get a song of the week, the name of the artist, the name of the song, and tell us what you think of every episode, the song, the book that we suggest or recommend or you to read. And after this episode, please don't forget to follow us on social media. It's Lesego M_MH, Lesego_MH. I beg your pardon, I said Lesego M. It's actually Lesego_MH. Lesego_MH on all social media platforms. And please don't forget to follow, subscribe, rate this show to get a notification each and every time we drop a new episode. So let's head over to today's topic. Really interesting. Had a very interesting week. Just moved from Joburg to the Wild. Shout out to me. So came this side, went through a whole phase, and still trying to settle in, all that. So, but that's off topic though. But the topic of today is, when do we let go? When do we let go? In relationships, with family, with friends, in business, killings, when do we let go? It's a very interesting topic that we have today, because it's all based on a personal experience that I've had with my brothers or friends, whatever you may call them, and I was like, this is something maybe I could bring to the podcast. We hear what our listeners are thinking about this very topic, and probably get some solutions around what we need to do. Some smart people who will listen to the podcast, they might come with some very interesting, outputs or inputs to this, and this is what I want to say. When is the right time to let go? Because I'm very aware that, sometimes being attached to something is because you love it, you are invested in it. You want to give it your all in hopes that, whatever the relationship has, the next person will reciprocate the energy that you put out to them, which is all love, And I've learned to realize that, sometimes being in love or giving out love, you may not get the same love that you give out. So it's always best when you give out love to never expect it back, because that's when you put yourself in a situation where you get disappointed by people that were supposed to reciprocate the love that you put out there, and somehow it takes a bit of your peace, or much of your peace even, depending on how invested you are in the person or the relationship with whoever we may be talking to. I don't want to give out names of the specific person that I'm talking to, because this might be a subject that I think we can all tackle, because it's very relatable. Some people don't know how to let go of drugs because they love drugs. Some people don't know how to let go of their loved ones. Like, I want us to talk around that, and let me know what you think on the comment sections, and some of the things that I could implement. Those could be some of the things that I could implement in some of the relationships that I have with people around me. I spoke about, love. I spoke about peace. I just wanted at this point to throw in something, to say, how do you then react to people who don't reciprocate the energy that you put out there, the love, and it just gets too much for me. Sometimes I think peace is very important. Like, peace is very important because peace is doing what you love to do. You know what I mean? And sometimes doing what you love to do is doing something for the people you love. You know what I mean? So you are at peace. That can be your definition of peace. You know what I mean? Doing the things that you love to do for the people that you love to do it for. That can be your ultimate state of peace. You know what I mean? And sometimes the people that we love don't reciprocate the love, and I think it's unfair for us to kind of expect the reciprocation. I don't know what you guys think, but I think to avoid getting hurt, it's better to just love people, and so you just avoid being disappointed by some of the things they do. You know what I mean? So I want to throw in something in the mix as we are talking about when to let go. I just want to know from you guys, how do you appreciate someone for who they are versus what you want for them without imposing who you are on them? You know what I mean? I think it's also a challenge as well, because sometimes when I say, this is what I love for my brother, I want him to win in life, I want this, that, it's good to say, I'm putting the energy out for you, I'm going to invest in you in A, B, and C. It's good for him to say, oh, I see this person is doing that for me. How am I reciprocating by means of appreciation or showing that I'm very grateful for what he's doing? And hopefully that person feel fulfilled as to this person is actually putting in the effort and is pushing towards the thing I see for them, and it aligns with who they are. So they probably love that because they see what you love that thing for them. You know what I mean? And I'm like, how do you also balance that without it having to come out as someone who's imposing to them? So the question was, how do you balance appreciating people for who they are versus what you want for them, without imposing who you are to them? I'll make an example. I think I did make an example, so there's no need for that. And that's another question that I wanted to put out there, because I find that, it's easier to do something for someone than immediately the energy is reciprocated. It's easy to do that because you have an understanding with that person, and communication, of course, is very key in all these things. You know what I mean? It's very key, and to get that back, it's a beautiful thing. And with love again, I think I was listening to Kian. Is it Kian? John Wick. For all of you, I don't think you know him as Kian now. Is it Kian Rivera? Yeah, but you guys know him as John Wick. I don't know if I'm even pronouncing the word right at this point, but he was saying, what's the worth of love if you're not willing to fight for it, you know? And that's an interesting take, you know, because sometimes people can't let go because they believe that love is worth fighting for. But when do you call it quits? When do you say, this is enough? This is taking, you know, an emotional strain on me, physically, spiritually, mentally, you know, and spiritually even, you know, when do you call it quits? You know, I just wanted to get your take around that. And for those of you who want to engage, interact with us, and maybe become a part of, you know, the panel or guest and show, just to speak on this more, please make sure to leave. And for the people who, I know a lot of people in the comment section are too afraid, if I can, they have a fear of like speaking their minds, because like this circle is being followed by so and so I can't, because maybe that person might see, and you know. So I think we've switched off the comments on Spotify. So everybody that wants to comment on Spotify, we the people at the back end will see your comments, but we won't make them public. Should we want to make a comment public, a comment that's very valuable, you know, and that doesn't disclose too much information about the person, the whereabouts of the person, we'll have to ask the person for consent to have it air on the show or as part of the specific episode even. And I think it's very important, because to have consent of someone, because of the very thing, that's why we were having like less comments, because people had the fear of saying, like, the support knows this person, I might say something and it might, you know, affect the relationship that I have with that person, you know. I think also, even when you comment, guys, just try to be mindful, you know. Try to be mindful to also understand, like, this, the next person might be listening and how they'll take that, you know, like, use your words wisely, you know. That's what I would say. So for those of you who just joined us on the line, we've been on for the past 12 minutes. We're talking about when is the right time to let go on relationships, with family, with friends, with business partners, with sneaky links, with good and bad habits. When is the right time to say, I've had enough? You know what I mean? When we come back, we'll be talking more on this. We have to go on an ad break. I did mention that we have a new segment which is called Song of the Day. And Song of the Day for this episode is IPLAN by THUKZIN, featuring Zaba and Zakes. Zakes is spelled by this Zakes is creative as fuck. I'm so sorry for the language. I apologize for the language. So it's spelled as followed. It's SYKES, as opposed to the normal Zakes is ZAKES. So this one, I don't know what they were going with for. And if I'm pronouncing it wrong, guys, please send in those voice notes, and give me the right pronunciation of the last name in the song. Obviously at the end of the episode, I'll be revealing unveiling the book of the day. I'll be revealing the book of the day. So on the comment section, please make sure that you comment, you send in those voice notes, let us know what you think. And if you want to be a part of the episode as well, tell us what value you can offer the listeners of the podcast. Then we'll consider having you on the show. So please don't forget to follow us again on social media. It's Lesego_MH on every social media platform. And don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, so you get a notification each and every time we drop a new episode. Let's meet after the break. Cheers. Welcome back to Backroomconvo. I'm your host, Lesego M, aka Shoot Your Short, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Cairo. Listen, if you are a fan of pod, stay tuned because you might like what we're cooking. On this week's episode, we are talking about when to let go. Song of the week, IPLAN by THUKZIN featuring Zaba and Zakes. Zakes is spelled S-Y-K-E-S, not Z-A-K-E-S, not that Zakes, but the Zakes, the S and Y. So on this week's episode, we are talking about when to let go. Before we went on the break, I was talking about how mentally draining it is to invest in someone who is not reciprocating spiritually, physically, mentally, and emotionally as well. It's draining to invest in someone who doesn't see that for themselves. The same love or the same beauty or the same success, or the success, not the same, but the success that you see for them, they don't see for themselves. It can be people who are drug addicts. You're like, my brother, I want the best for you. I want you to leave this addiction. Go to counseling. The same thing. We can talk about who's that guy again. This just came to mind. Bonga. Bonga was offered a job and he was offered the opportunity to go into rehab to get his life straight. And afterwards, when he comes back, there was a job. Lady invested in him, and kudos to the lady, and that's all love, So the question is now, because Bonga went back to drugs, went back to the streets, regardless of how big the opportunity was for him to change his life, but because people were so emotionally invested and physically and spiritually and financially invested in him to say like, bro, you're a very smart individual. Why do you keep doing what you're doing to yourself? Whereas you could be doing greater things in life, and here is an opportunity for you to change that. You know what I mean? It's like the person is not invested. They're on the streets, as I said before. You know what I mean? So same situation is happening in my life. Wanted to get you involved, hear your thoughts. Don't forget to comment, follow, like, and rate the show to get a notification each and every time we drop an episode. Tell me what you think about this, And I did speak about, love, to say you love this person, but this person doesn't see that, or he doesn't appreciate or understand why you're doing that for them. And it also, violates facets of your life, including your peace, because you want a better life for this person. But the question is, what is a better life? Is the better life that you want for them the same better life that they see themselves in, or like they see for themselves, And I think maybe sometimes the things we think are the best for the people we love are not what they see for themselves. And sometimes it's fine to let go, to be like, I will let you be, Hence I brought in the question to say, like, how do you balance appreciating someone for who they are versus what you want for them without imposing who you are on them or their goals? Because I think when you know someone, you know what they like, and when you have a plan of action to say, this is the route we're going to take, you get clean. Use Boma as an example to say, this is the format we'll use for you to be there. You know what I mean? I want the best for you. You know what I mean? So I want to find out from you, like, when is the right time, to let go? So, because I don't know when is the right time. Because even, I myself, people go back to like those toxic relationship and you ask yourself, why, So maybe there's something we are missing, So I want you guys to engage with us. Let us know where are we getting this thing wrong? Because for sure, I think when you are emotionally invested in to someone, physically invested and mentally invested into someone, it starts to affect your peace at an extent because of how invested you are for them to improve. But they don't give a shit. I'm so sorry to say that, but they don't give a shit about what you think or what you want for them. You know what I mean? So I just want to find out from you, Uguti, like, do you leave them? And I think this is what I want to bring at play. To bring this at play, to say, Uguti, it's very important again, Uguti, in this discussion we bring God in. Because sometimes you're like, without even coming out as judgment, this person doesn't see how off or how derailed they are in their life, and they talk about it like it's normal to do what they are doing. You understand? And sometimes it's important to always pray, to give gratitude to God, to say, God, I'm very grateful, I'm very grateful for the fact, Yoguti, I'm living my life the way I'm living. I'm very aware of my surroundings and everything that's happening. And for the fact that I see, Yoguti, there's a problem here, and I'm the one who's willing to fix it. Can I always be in the shoe that I'm aware of my surroundings and I'm in a position of making improvements each and every time? I think it's very important, to see, Yoguti, you're in the wrong, to see, Yoguti, understand? Because sometimes I think for me, when I look at it and I'm like, person A and B doesn't see what's at stake here or what they stand to gain. You understand? And I'm like, God, I never want to be in that position where I can't even see the smallest things. What I deem small, but it may be a better thing to someone who's affected by it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, God, I'm grateful that I'm able to see even these small things. You know what I mean? Even these small things. Because now this person doesn't see, and when you have the opportunity to change their life, but still, even when you communicate with them, they still don't see what you want for them, and eventually you're the one person who ends up getting hurt, because of the actions or the behavior towards the love, the kindness, the caring, And sometimes I think when you get to a point where you start getting pushy, it seems as if what you want for them is something that you want for yourself. It comes out as selfish to them, of course, because they don't see it either. You know what I mean? And I'm like, when do we call it quit? When do we say, like, I'm going to leave you to do what you think is best for your life, and I won't be emotionally invested. I still love you though. I won't be emotionally invested. But I love you, And as much as I love you, I love myself more, And it's always important to always put yourself first in situations like this, to say, I have to choose myself over you understand? And as much as I wanted you, and as much as my love and my growth had you in the picture, to say, I wanted us, understand? I wanted to achieve A, B, and C in life. These people, understand? I wanted to be in a marriage with this person, But if it doesn't happen, when is the right time? When is the right time? That's my question for this episode. I know a lot of questions, a lot of defining, a lot of self-development that has to go on. I might be wrong with some of the things that I put out there, but it's important that we as a community to fix one another and grow and go forward. You know what I mean? And it was interesting to me because I didn't know how to handle it. Because sometimes I think, Uguti, when you don't handle a situation will handle itself. Right? With time, the situation will handle itself, because when you don't want to address the elephant in the room, you understand? And sometimes it may turn out to be good, sometimes it may turn out to be bad. You know what I mean? And for me, that observation, I've been making that observation, and I'm like, wow, it's really interesting that I'm seeing this, but like, it's good to also get a second perspective or a different perspective from how I see it. I really didn't give out any answers because I want you to engage with us, tell us what you think of the episode, and what I can do, or the next person who's listening to this is also going through this, as part of like the solution to the problem that we are currently facing as a community. Thank you for listening to the 31st episode of Backroom Convos with Lesego M. I'm very appreciative, and I had hoped that by the end of this year we'd reach 100 episodes, but by the mercy of God and putting in the work, I still believe we can still hit the 100 mark episode this year, but it's all behind the work that we put in as people who listen, and the work that we also put in to make sure that we release these episodes that are valuable to the people that listen to it. And shout out to the people that are listening to us from Ghana, to the people that are listening to us from Eswatini, outside South Africa, and I'm very grateful for those. And even you guys, to you as well, guys, who are listening to us from within the country of South Africa, we really appreciate you for sticking with us each and every day when we bring you these wonderful guests with, very fruitful insights on the challenges they face or their life journeys and stories. I really appreciate you for that. So I want us to step in to the last segment, or the last piece of this segment, which is the book of the day. So the book of the day, this is the book of the day. For those of you who haven't read Becoming by Michelle Obama, that's the book of the day. Book of the day is Becoming by Michelle Obama. Becoming by Michelle Obama. That's the book of the day. The song of the day is IPLAN by THUKZIN, Zaba, and Zed with an S and Y. You know what I mean? Appreciate you lots for listening to us for the past 26 hours. For the past 26 minutes. I almost said hours. 26 minutes. For those of you who haven't followed us on social media, it's Lesego M_MH. And don't forget to follow, like, subscribe to get a notification each and every time we drop a new episode. I'm your host, Lesego M, the Report, aka Shoot Your Shot, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Cairo. Lord, reach on another exciting one. Cheers.